Well, good morning to everyone this morning. First of all, I've got to say, Richard, if you can get me an autograph of Peppa Pig, I would be in such great standing with my granddaughter that I will be the best granddad in the world. So if you can arrange that, that would be marvellous. But let's crack on with this morning. A couple of things. I feel like a bit like Max Miller. Now, I'm sure most of you remember Max Miller. Perhaps Helen is shaking her head, she doesn't. But Max Miller was a music hall act. And he used to have two routines. And he'd stand at the front of the stage and he'd go, do you want to hear from the blue book or the white book? You can probably guess the blue book was a little bit more racier than the white book. Well, yesterday I sat down and I tried to write a sermon for today. And I wrote loads and loads and loads of different things. I've got loads of bits of paper with what I wrote. But do you know what? In the middle of the night, God prodded me and said, no, I think I want you to write something different, which is a bit annoying because that meant I had to get up at about 6:30 this morning. So here goes. You're going to get the white book, not the blue book. I hope that's all right. Following a little bit on from what we've been talking about already. So during this period of lockdown, how have you been with God? What has that experience been like for you? Now, we have, over the past few weeks, 80 to 90 people online every week, which is amazing. It's fantastic. We get more regularity with people turning up, as Richard just said, online than we do in church. But that's just the way things are on occasion. But I guess if each one of you was to give an answer to that question, where are you with God, we'd get something in the region of 80 to 90 different answers. Because our relationship with God at its heart is something between us and God. Yes, we do come together on church services, Zoom services, to praise him, to sing out loud, to say prayers communally together, to share communion when we're able, to do all those sort of things. But actually, at its heart, it's that relationship that we have ourselves with our Father in heaven through his Son, Jesus Christ. Often people ask me, or say to me, I wish I could have faith like you. And my response is, I wish you could as well, because I cannot have faith for you. As a minister and as any one of us who have faith in Jesus Christ can only point the way, because our faith is personal at the end of the day. But the great thing is that we do have tools to make that faith happen. We have the power of prayer, asking God into our lives, to ask him to get alongside us, to bring our troubles to him. But we also have another tool as well. We have our Bibles. Now, I've got my Bible here. It's actually got gaffer tape holding most of it together. It's a bit used. It's a bit battered. It's the bit I write everything in. I've got sticky labels everywhere. And I'm sure actually most of us have got Bibles very similar to that. And together with prayer and with our Bibles and all the other practices we put into place, I think it helps us to build a picture of what God is like. And that picture we sort of put together, we pull those different parts out. Something like a jigsaw, really. Now, fortunately, I know a little bit about jigsaws because over this lockdown period, Linda and I have done a few jigsaws, I have to tell you. And they can be very frustrating. I'm sure some of you have been doing so as well. In fact, I know you have. You get a piece. I've got a couple of pieces here. There we go. One's part to a beach, I know that, and one looks like it should be in a tree somewhere. You can't really see it too well. Oh, there we go, there's a camera. And it gets frustrating because I'm convinced that that bit will go in a certain hole. But do you know what? No matter what I do, how I try to get in there, it won't go. I've tried my scissors to cut it into place. And when that doesn't work, I get a mallet and I bang it in. But surprisingly enough, it still doesn't look quite right. The other day, Linda and I did this puzzle, and in fact, we're having another go at it at the moment, because when we got to the end, there was about a dozen pieces missing, and we was really disappointed. So we broke the puzzle up and said, this is rubbish, threw it in the bin, and then found the dozen pieces that we were missing underneath the box. We dug it out of the bin, and now we're trying to put it back together. I have this horrible feeling there might be one piece at the bottom of the bin. But that's what we do, isn't it? And if we're not careful, what happens when we don't put it in the right place? When we stick it here, there, and everywhere where we think it's supposed to go, we mar the picture, we disfigure it. The things that we've tried to fit in just doesn't look right. One of the puzzles we did was the kings and queens of England. It took ages to figure out, especially when it was all done, but it didn't look right. I'd got the robes of James II mixed up with the robes of George III. Didn't seem quite right, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It took me ages to sort it out. The picture was marred. It was flawed in some way. And sometimes if we're not careful, we can do that with our relationship with God. We try to make things fit. We push him into the holes, the places that seems to fit, but it's not quite there. And in doing so, we end up distorting the picture, the very face, the very presence of God himself. We've said already, we try to fit him into the box that suits us, because that's where we think he should go. Actually, rather than just letting God have free rein in our lives. The learned and the wise in our reading did exactly that. They took the words of God that Moses had given them and the other prophets, the commandments of how to live out their lives, and they tried to make it fit the picture of what they were trying to do. They actually thought that they knew better of how people can be controlled. They were the only people that knew God's picture properly. And because of the learned and the wise trying to shoehorn God into a particular style, particular pattern, into a particular picture to fit their jigsaw, they placed extra burdens upon the people. They laid more and more laws upon the top of them, forgetting that God's love is not harsh, but caring. His love is not something to make you weary, but to build you up in life. In fact, God's love is about caring for us when times are bad as well as good. Many people have experienced that over this period. You know the poem, Footprints. How often do we always revert back to that poem? I too, so many times. That moment when the poem turns around, or the writer turns around and says, "Why, when I needed you, Lord, was there only one set of prints in the sand?" And God answers, "My son, my daughter, that's when I carried you." God's love is gracious. It's not burdensome in any way. The 10 Commandments were there to set out our life to live in harmony with God and with one another. It wasn't put in place to curtail our freedoms, but to give us space and room to enjoy the freedom that God gives us. the learned and the wise, when they saw Jesus, when they saw John the Baptist, all they could see was a threat to their authority. They said one had a demon because he lived in the desert. They said the other was a glutton because he got alongside the sinful, the tax collectors, those on the margins of society. Yet actually that's where God is. Jesus, I believe, helps us, guides our hands to place the pieces of the jigsaw of life that he gives us, into the right place. No more do we have to use scissors and mallets to bang the pieces into place. Because Jesus knows the picture. It's the picture of the Father's face. He knows it intimately. For as Jesus says, no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those whom the Son has chosen to reveal him. God is a picture before us. And in fact, I don't know if you are able to, and it's very difficult, and those on the phone, I know this is impossible. But if you look at all the pictures that are in front of you, everybody's face. We've got, how many we got here? We've got loads. We've got 53 participants. We can see each other's face, can't we? We get really close. We can see into our very souls if you look carefully. I can see from Pampo to Deborah, to Verity and Alan, to Pete, to Helen, to Joe, to Sheila, to Sarah, to Mark. Well, 53 participants all here. That's the face of God looking straight back at me and at you. For God is in each one of us, because through his Son, Jesus Christ, he has revealed himself in the simplicity of his love. It's not complicated. God loves us through his Son, Jesus Christ. Jesus made that possible. The picture that Jesus paints, the picture that he puts together as he places those pieces of jigsaw into place, is a perfect picture. Not one that is battered into place, but lovingly put into position, because it reveals God's marvelous creation, you and I. Amen. I hope the white book was far worthier than the blue book. One of the tools I spoke about a moment ago was the tool of communion. And obviously, over these weeks, it's not something that we've been able to join in together to do. And so let's just take this moment to join in that spiritual communion. And what I would like is that we say it together. Thanks be to you, Lord Jesus Christ, for all the benefits you have given me, for all the pains and insults you have borne from me. Since I cannot now receive you sacramentally, I ask you to come spiritually into my heart. O most merciful Redeemer, friend and brother, may I know you more clearly, love you more dearly, and follow you more nearly, day by day. Amen.